Start recording. We're gonna bang out some podcasts. Welcome to Practical Shooting After Dark. My name's Ben. We're going to talk about practical shooting. It's not really dark for anybody yet, is it? It's
No.
early, but we'll pretend it's after dark. So you guys don't have to keep it PG-13. You go R-rated if you want. All right. On deck today we got Mr. Joel from Omaha.
Hello.
Mr. Alex from Montreal and from say hello.
The French.
The
The
French.
French part.
And
What's up, guys?
from Edmonton, Mr. Jeff.
Hello, everyone.
It's spread all over North America today. I love it. Okay, you guys know the rules. Everybody comes to the topic. Either something triggers you want to talk about it, you want to talk about what you did in shooting, either this week or some other week, provided we haven't talked about it, or you want to show and tell something, which means you describe it for the listeners, because that's how most people consume this thing. So, who'd like to go first? Don't
All
all
right,
jump
Jeff,
in.
go on.
Jeff.
All right, sure. I think Alex and I can actually share a topic this week.
Yes.
So we very recently shot the Canadian Nationals match.
Mhm.
And, well, Alex, you're still national champion. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
That's awesome.
It was a different match. I'll let you talk about it. But, yeah.
Well, I think the first impression when everyone got there was it's an easy match. It looked like a hoser match. It looked like there was nothing challenging. And the thing I heard a lot was it looked like a USPSA match.
This is for
Yeah,
people
definitely.
that largely have not been to USPSA matches.
I would assume so, yes.
Okay.
But by the end of it, I think the comments I heard mostly were it's actually surprising how challenging a match like that is, that even wide open targets actually can be difficult and people still get mics and targets that they think are easy. And I think that's actually interesting that was by and large the common consensus.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun match. Like, it was a really fun match to shoot. But yeah, like Jeff said, it was really USPSA style, and I think the average hit factor for stages were about like 7.5 to 8.5.
That sounds very USPSA like, actually.
Yeah. I think like the lowest hit factor stage was about like 4. That was
Yeah,
like,
that's about
it
right.
was like one stage in the whole match. So everything was like super close, super high pace, like very, very fast. But yeah, it was a
All right, so what did you guys learn from that? Or what did you learn from that, Jeffy?
They kind of took the world's approach in that all the more technical, the challenging, if you can say that, stages were all the short ones. So that's where a lot of distance shots were. And, in a way that it skews the match a bit. And the field courses were all very high hit factor, 30 rounds, 32 rounds. They're quick, they're fast. But even the slow ones that were challenging, by having these little technical aspects, even the small stages tended to drag out a little bit, I found. And yeah, that it was a different match compared to everything we're used to up here in Canada.
I'm thinking back to last year, because I did attend Canadian Nationals last year. I'm thinking of a 24 round stage that took something like 30 seconds for the fast guys to do.
Yep.
And I think the fastest stage I remember last year was a 30 round stage that took the fast guys about 15 seconds to do. That was the fastest one. So it sounds like pretty much everything was like the fastest one from last year.
Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
okay.
Gives me a good frame. But in USPSA, like 15 seconds for a 30 round stage would not raise any eyebrows.
No.
That's not weird. That's
It is in Canada.
Well, yeah. I've definitely learned some things with that type of match. Actually, that is something I need to work on. So
Yeah, you
For
tried
me
to jam
personally,
up all them alphas there, player.
yeah. Oh shit. That first day we had shot like 9 stages, and I was like down 6 Charlies and 1 Delta, and I was like, well, I'm shooting a shit ton of alphas today, and then I realized, oh fuck, like no, I need to actually drop some points, get better stage times, and for the second day that paid off. So I just changed my pace a little bit, and it was actually the thing to do. But fuck, man, I was aiming way too hard.
Yeah. Aiming too hard is a thing you can do.
Yep. But it was the time of match. I think it's too bad for nationals. Is that if you do one little mistake, like you fumble one mag, like everybody's gonna do some mistakes at some point in big match. But in that match, if you fumble just one mag, you just lost like 20 match points right away, and it's hard to get back from that.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
like everybody's gonna shoot good points because everything is so close, and it's all about speed and the man like in the end. So it's
There's
not
really
very
not.
forgiving.
Yeah, there wasn't much room to make up mistakes in a match like this.
Joel, as a dyed-in-the-wool USPSA shooter, what are you thinking when you're hearing this conversation?
Like this is what I'm used to every day, man. You gotta just slam those targets, man.
Yeah,
Like,
get good. Get good, guys.
yeah, man. Gun handling.
No, a good way to experience this, like this is reminding me of like my early days of doing shooting like El Presidente or something, just trying to understand scoring. It'd be like if I shoot it in 8 seconds and jam up all alphas pretty consistently, that's realistic. That would not be very productive. If I shoot it in 6 seconds and have Charlies here and there, that's pretty good. But if I shoot it in 4.5 seconds and I have like 4 Charlies, 5 Charlies, or 50-50 A's and C's, like, I mean, that's the way to go. When the hit factors start getting that high. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you guys for stages normally you don't really have to look at a stage and be like, well, what do I think the hit factor is going to be here? Maybe I'll lean more towards points or speed. You guys are used to always leaning towards points, right? Is that a fair
Not-
assumption
not-
or no?
Not necessarily. Actually, we'll look at. I mean, if there's a lot of movement, a lot of dead times, that will bring the hit factor down, and so like, okay, this stage is all about points. But this whole match was. I think there was like 2 stages that were about points. Like the 16 other stages were all about speed. So, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I was late to the party, and that's it. I should have known that right from the start. But like what I was used to think about is for long matches like that, consistency is key, and points are important. Shooting minor, but no, definitely not for USPSA slot matches.
Yeah.
Consistency is
And-
still key, but
Yeah. So Joel, just for your reference, in most of our stages here, we don't. There's a lot of dead time. There's a lot of movement in between targets. We don't really have more than two targets in an array. Unlike USPSA, where there's clusters of targets and you're moving between them, things are a lot more spread out typically in IPSC style stages, at least here in Canada. Whether that's because we're running 10-round mags for all divisions and it's just more fun having movement so that you can get those reloads done, or whatever reason it is, that's just how we've traditionally had our stages. So this match was quite different.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I like having more movement myself, but that's just me. All right. Speaking of IPSC, you guys want me to talk about something?
yeah, sure.
All right. So, Kim is long since departed from staying at my place. But we had a good time shooting together and watching some shooting videos and that sort of stuff. And one thing that struck me as we were watching a video of a very old world shoot, like 2005 world shoot in Ecuador. This was the days where it was 9 rounds maximum for a short course, and I think you could only have 2 shooting positions. Back in those days, and I was like, that sucked. So this reminded me of when this rule changed in IPSC to allow 12 rounds maximum in a short course, which for most of the listeners, this doesn't mean much, but at big matches, you're going to have 3 short courses like that for every 1 big stage. And then there'll be 2 stages in the middle. So the stages come in blocks of 6. So that means half the stages you're shooting are 12 rounds or less. And back in the days when it was half the stage you're shooting were 9 rounds with typically no movement, like that was boring as shit and stupid. And I'm really glad they changed it to be 12 rounds for a short course and allowing for more movement is way more interesting. That puts tilts the balance in a much better spot. Were you around for this? You weren't around for the rule change, were you, Alex?
No, I was not. But like I just noticed that's still typically pretty common in USPSA style matches.
What?
Down in the US, that they're gonna do like all field course and there's gonna be one stage with like 9 rounds of speed shoot.
No, we don't do short courses really. I mean, like to be honest, we don't really.
No, but when you do, it's like one static position and it's like 2 activators and like speed shoot style.
Or it'll
like
be
a classifier.
They're often classifiers.
Yeah. So we don't do what you would call a proper short course.
No.
In the U.S., like that's not really a thing. Where there's, so in Czech, can you think of one of the short courses that had the most movement on it?
Oh well, I mean they all had movements, but I really liked one that there was a swinger, there was like a port, target you could engage while starting to move, some plates. There was timing with the swinger and a Cooper tunnel.
In 12 rounds.
In 12 rounds.
Yes.
That was like
Wow.
all in one little stage.
Yes.
It was hella fun.
I like those stages a lot. I think adding more rounds doesn't really make the stage better. In a lot of ways, it makes it like less interesting and worse, but that's just me. Like if you're adding targets just to add rounds, I don't know, Joel, do you shoot at clubs that do this? Maybe?
Yeah,
Not
it's
that you want to
possible.
say? Yeah.
Yeah.
So like if I build a stage and I put one target over in a spot, I mean, and that accomplishes my objective as the stage is, and it's like, okay, people are going to have to come over here to shoot this target. Some guys might come and look at this and be like, hey, this stage is only 22 rounds. Like, we could put some more targets over here, and then it would be 28. And that'd be better.
Just change it to 3 per, right?
Yeah, it's like, oh my God. Yeah, so that stuff doesn't, in a lot of ways, it makes stages less interesting by doing that stuff. So I really like, I like what IPSC has turned into with short courses, and watching older IPSC footage really made me appreciate it. I think the first world shoot I shot was under the old rules, and when they changed it, it was like, this is so fucking much better. Like, this is so much more interesting. And you're really seeing that in the Czech Republic with the newer stages, the newer short courses that those guys are putting on. Like, they're really doing it well. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Actually, after talking about a couple like US shooters, like the people that came to Czech Republic, some of the shooters came to Pan American in Jamaica. The short courses are really, for them, it's really interesting, and it's growing on them.
Is he cutting out for everybody else or just me?
Oh,
Nope.
Nope.
I can hear him fine.
All right, go again with what you just said, Alex.
yeah. So the US shooters, after they shot like Pan American and IPSC in Czech Republic, there was a couple guys, and all of them, they all noticed that it was like the short courses were the most interesting, and it's growing on them, so they like it.
Yeah.
It's something different, obviously, for them.
Well, we don't typically do short courses that are interesting in the US. It's just not a thing that we
No.
do.
No.
It's not part of the culture here. It's like a short course means it's a classifier.
Yeah, so just let's put a barricade and just these targets, mandatory reload, and some other targets.
Yes. Fascinating stuff. All right, this concludes what I had to talk about. Mr. Joel.
Well, show and tell. I'm always about making practice more efficient because, yes. So I work at a credit union. If I get off work at 5, I'll like have all my stuff at home, ready to roll, go home, change real fast, haul ass to the range, shoot till it gets dark, clean up my stuff, and go home. So I'd seen other people have them. I'm like, oh, I don't know, whatever. But
You
I
bought a
ended up.
paster gun. Oh,
Yes.
no. I heard about this.
Yes. So
Didn't
the
Myers
CG
talk
pacer
you
gun-
into this?
I was debating about it. Yes, you heard the conversation. So I was shooting a club match with my friend Chad, and he's walking around holding this paster gun. I'm like, that's kind of cool. I'd seen him before. I'd seen you trolling with Tim's paster gun where he kept stealing it. Like, oh.
I had a bounty on it I paid a $300 bounty to have his paster gun stolen at one point.
Holy crap.
And now he wrote, there's a military guy down where Tim lives, like a military dude that everybody's afraid of. So Tim like put that dude's name on his paster gun. So everybody's afraid to steal it.
That's awesome.
Anyway, go ahead.
So anyway, saw my friend Chad using his. I'm like, hey, can I borrow that in a match? I go through, it's just in a match. I hit like 4 targets, and I'm like, oh, all right, you can have this back. Like, I need it. So yeah, I was ordering some crap, and I messaged Tim anyway, because I had a question about some of the stuff I was ordering. I'm like, those paster guns are pretty good, and he's like, yeah, you need it. So, like, bam, I got this thing. So, like, sorry for the audio listeners, but it's like you just hit the trigger, it's like, it's just spitting out pasters like crazy. So you walk up to a target, it's like, bam, 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 done. And it's awesome. Anything that saves me time is worth it. I'm pretty cheap. So
Yeah, you are.
the way I thought of this is when I first started reloading handgun, I got a Dillon 650 because that's what my friends use. I'm like, okay,
Wait,
I'll get
do you
Dillon.
have to are you trying to like justify the purchase now?
No. Hear me out. Hear me out. So I get the 650, and I'm reloading. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Like, I'd only had a single stage press before for my rifle. So loading this handgun, and then like 2 months later, I'm talking to my friends, and in conversation, they're like, something about my case feeder. I'm like, you're what? They're like, yeah, I have a case feeder on my 650. I'm like, what's that? So they tell me, I'm like, holy crap. So then that night I go buy one. Like, I didn't know. So I was just
Those
like loading
things
it in
are-
the tube. So
They're barely usable without that.
that's
Yeah,
the way
what-
it came, dude. Like, I don't know. So, yeah. Well, anyway, this paster gun's like that. So now that I know it's out there and I have one, I will never not have one. For a club match, like, whatever. But for practice, like, I just grab that bad boy, go up there, look at my targets. Just, like, there's no reason to even not paste, like, oh, I'll leave the alphas and I'll paste everything else to save time. It's like, no, I've got this thing. I'll just hit the target, bang them all out, and it's awesome. So now that I have it, I will never not have one.
Well, fuck.
Yeah.
Nah, I need one.
You do. It's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
It's like that. For me, it was like the
Fly.
case feeder. Like, you don't
Oh,
know
yeah.
what you don't know. Like, I didn't
No,
know that thing existed.
I've used one a couple times, and I gotta say, once you get used to it, it's so much faster.
It's just like a pricing gun if you've ever worked retail. It's like, once you get the timing and a little hand-eye coordination, it's like, bam.
The millennials don't know what you're talking about, Joel. It's a price gun. What are you talking about?
All right.
They're out of the demo. All right, should we do a shooting question, gentlemen?
Do it.
All right. What do you think about agility training for practical shooting? I've recently started doing agility ladder drills and cone drills on my driveway. I alternate doing the cone drills as recommended, no gun, full speed, change of direction, and setting up each cone and dry fire targets on my fence. I just started this a couple weeks ago. I have a match Sunday, and we'll see if it helps. Thanks. So, agility drills, agility ladder, you guys know what those are, right?
Yep.
I have one here. I can show it, but I mean, if you know what it is, you know what it is. Or cones, working around, running around cones and changing directions. What do you think about this? Joel?
Well, I am not the most physically fit, I suppose,
That's why
person.
I kicked it to you first.
I know you did. For me, in my shooting, I'm the scrub of this group. I will admit that.
No,
for me,
I don't know.
doing. Shut up.
No,
The-
that's right.
just-
Jeff is hit or miss. To be honest.
For me, doing the technique correctly is more important. So, like, for instance, running. I could go train so hard and like run track and field and try to be better at sprinting, but I don't think in a match, me being like a little bit better at sprinting is really going to save my match time as much as when it is time to sprint, I run with everything I have. Like, I'm going to go hard. But then when I get to that position, like, I'm being careful how I set up, gun up. I know when to get on the trigger. All right, when I'm done shooting, maybe it's a hard exit, so I'm going to post up, really aim. After that last shot, time to leave, move. Or maybe it's an easy exit. All right, I'm leaning out, I'm shifting my weight, I'm shooting as I'm leaving. So I'm sure, like, I've seen guys that are better at shooting than me that do that. and they seem to do well because of it. But I don't think it would be the biggest return on investment for me personally. I can't speak for others.
Yes, you can, Joel.
I'm not going to then. I could, but I'm not going
Drop
to.
some truth bombs on these people. Tell them what's up.
I do not think it would be a good return on investment for me. I would better dedicate my time to dry firing or doing movement in the traditional sense of what I would do in dry fire drills.
All right, I've gotten this. I've seen a few people. I've been around shooting for a while now, and I see people sometimes like, I'm starting to shoot. Like, I'm going to be like awesome at shooting, and they start putting stuff online, and then they're like, okay, so this person has C-class skill level, and they're like, I'm going to the gym. I'm going to the gym. I'm dry firing every day, and this and this. It's kind of like, okay, you know, going to the gym is not a bad thing for your life. Obviously, that is a good thing. But I wouldn't expect it to help your shooting all that much. Here's a good example. What am I, guys, like 35 pounds lighter than I was last year at
Yes,
this time? Have you noticed any difference in my shooting?
we still suck, but
No, me. Like, is there any difference in my shooting?
not that I can see.
Yeah, you
You
can't
mu-
even tell a difference, and it's a massive change, like in my like the way I'm built physically.
Yes.
That would be kind of what my expectation is.
But you might feel healthier, or you might feel like it's healthy.
Yeah, super healthy, pulling ass all over the place, whatever. But the fact is, it doesn't do a lot for my shooting. What I like for the agility ladder and the cone drills, I do them with like a dummy gun. If you're doing it outside and you have a place where you have neighbors, you can work on your movement technique and get a workout at the same time and not be worrying about, actually the mechanics of shooting. It's like, okay, I really want to dig my foot in and move out like this. Like, you can do that stuff and get a workout, but I don't think it's a good thing. But it wouldn't be the first thing I tell a guy to do. Does that sound fair for everyone here?
Yeah, well, I mean, actually, I think you told me, I remember you told me at World Shoot that it isn't about running, it's about shooting,
Yes.
which is totally true.
Yes.
And I always see like experience in shooting and being athletic can balance. Like, it can fool you actually. Being like very athletic when you start shooting can be very good for you because like you save up time by just moving fast. Doesn't mean you're actually shooting good, but the guy that is not like isn't just normal shape will be but very good like at shooting will mostly compensate for your athleticism. And but if you have the experience and you're good at shooting and you are athletic, well, maybe not for USPSA, but for IPSC, I can see that as just being one more tool to the toolbox that you
No.
have.
It's not that is a bad thing. It's like, is that a good return on investment for your time?
Definitely learn to shoot first. That's
There
for
you go.
sure.
Boom.
Yes, of course it's good to be in good shape. Of course.
But I mean, I'm building a program about like just for my personal training on agility ladders and cones and stuff like that. I want to experiment a little more with that and just being more efficient in my movement. I don't need to be stronger. I just need to be more efficient, and we'll see what it does. But I believe there's something to get out of it. But obviously, shooting is more important.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do or it's stupid. Like, for me, I like doing an agility ladder, running around cones with a blue gun, because like if I'm going to go work out, it makes sense that I can combine a workout with agility stuff. I'll put on like a 40-pound vest and work on movement technique at the same time as I'm getting a workout that just destroys my legs. Like, cool. Like, that's a productive use of my time. But it of course, it'll come down to shooting. You know what I mean? It always does. Damn it. All right, guys. I think that's enough for today. Thank you so much for coming on, Mr. Joel, Alex, and Jeff. And I sure do appreciate you guys helping me put on a podcast. Listeners, if you have a question you'd like the answer to, if you want to hear Joel shit on your ideas, Go to bensager.com, send me your questions. We'd love to hear from you.